There's a moment I see quite often with people, and it's usually the moment things start to make sense. They'll sit there and they say something like, I know I'm safe, I know it doesn't really make any sense, but I still feel it. And that's the bit that gets them. Because up until that point, they've been trying to fix it using logic. And logic hasn't really done anything for them. So that question becomes, if you understand it, why hasn't it changed? Well, people usually describe it in slightly different ways, but the pattern is always the same. I keep doing it again, even though I said I wouldn't. Yeah, I wake up at night, and my mind just goes, and I can't talk myself out of it, but only for just a short time. Yeah, and then there's often a pause, and something like, I feel a bit stupid saying out loud because I know it doesn't really make any sense. See, that's where the frustration really starts to build. Because you are trying, you're thinking about it, you're analysing it, you're making decisions, but something underneath all of that is still running that show. And this, I suppose this is where most people get caught out. Because we're taught to believe that if we understand something, we should be able to change it, yeah? But if that were true, nobody would struggle with habits. Nobody would feel anxious for no reason, no one would lie awake at 2 o'clock in the morning overthinking. Because, see, almost everybody understands their situation. That is not the issue. The issue is, well, you're just not dealing with logic. See, there are really just two parts to your mind. Your conscious mind and the subconscious mind. So, your conscious mind is the bit you feel most familiar with. It thinks, it analyses, it makes decisions, it talks to you in words, just like I'm doing now. It's the part of you that says, I shouldn't be feeling like this, or I know better than this. But the subconscious mind, well, it's different. So it's not really about words or logic. It's about patterns, automatic responses and fast reactions. It's doing things before you've even had that time to think. And in a way, well, it has to. Because if you had to consciously control everything you do, well, you'd never get through a single day. Breathing, walking, reacting, remembering, or just simply balancing, it would be overwhelming for it. So most of life is, well, it's automated. So this is the important bit. See, the subconscious mind, it isn't against you, and it's not trying to make your life harder. It's not even broken. It's actually just trying to help you, always. Its main job is really very simple. It's to keep you safe. But safe, well, it doesn't always mean comfortable, and it doesn't always mean helpful. So sometimes it creates patterns like anxiety, or habits that you don't really want anymore, or, like I say, waking up in the middle of the night for no real clear reason. And that's not because there's something actually wrong with you, but it's because it's just trying to do its job. Or it just might be using that old route. So this is where habits come in, or what we sometimes call neural pathways. Okay, so because anything you do repeatedly starts to become a kind of, almost like a kind of default route, a pattern, maybe like a shortcut even. And the more something is repeated, the more automatic it becomes. And that's just a little bit like a bus route, I suppose. The same journey, the same bus stops, the same outcome, over and over and over again. Now, most people don't realise they're not actively choosing that route anymore, though. It's just the one that's already been, learned. So imagine this. You're on a bus, and it's been going that same route for quite a while now, quite a long time. The same turns, all the same roads and streets, all the same destination, yeah? And you're sitting somewhere in the middle, or probably on the back seat, I don't know. You're just observing, that's all you're doing. And that passenger is your conscious mind. It notices things. It comments. And it reacts. So you might think things like, I feel anxious. I don't like this. I want to stop this. But a passenger doesn't drive that bus. They can't turn it left or right. They can't turn the bus left or right. They can only describe what's happening. And this is where people get stuck. Because they assume the passenger should be able to change the journey. But the driver is your subconscious mind. And the driver isn't trying to ruin your journey. It's not thinking in terms of being right or wrong. It's thinking, what route keeps us safe? What route have we taken before? Or even what route do I already know that works? Yeah. So it just keeps repeating the same journey because repetition feels safe, doesn't it? So if you want to change, you don't just shout from the back of the bus, yeah? You don't try to argue with it or even logic it into submission. You change the route. You get up, walk to the front of the bus, and you start to influence the system that's actually driving that behaviour. And that's really what approaches like hypnotherapy are working with. Without any forcing of change, without battling the willpower. But just helping that mind recognise there might be another way to get to where you're trying to go. A safer way. A calmer way, a much more useful way, yeah? So when people really understand that, something shifts. Because it stops being about, why can't I control this? And then it starts becoming, this is just a pattern that's been learned. And if it's been learnt, it can also be changed.